Live from Madison Square Garden in New York City, we present the undisputed heavyweight championship. In action tonight, one of boxing's top young heavyweights, Johnny Ruiz, taking on Mario Cawley. You'll also see Fernando Vargas defending his junior middleweight crown against Howard Clark, and welterweight champion James Page versus Sam Garb. And finally, the main event. It's been 6.5 years since boxing last had an undisputed heavyweight champion. Just hours from now, either Evander Holyfield or Lennox Lewis will be recognized as the one and only heavyweight champion of the world. The undisputed World Heavyweight Championship is being brought to you by Madison Square Garden, the world's most famous arena. Budweiser, undisputed, undefeated king of beers. MoneyGram, international money transfer. Golden Ram Memory, the fastest growing memory company in the world. And by TVKO, pay-per-view entertainment from HBO. Madison Square Garden, a storied arena that is known as the Mecca of boxing. Tonight, it will host the biggest heavyweight bout since the Muhammad Ali-Joe Frazier epic back in March of 1971, when champions Evander Holyfield and Lennox Lewis put their respective belts on the line in a unification bout. This much anticipated fight sold out the first week of January, making it the fastest sellout of any prize fight in this building. Over 1,300 press credentials from 30 different countries have been issued for tonight's heavyweight showdown. And good evening, everyone. I'm James Brown, and welcome to TVKO's presentation of Championship Boxing. And I'm pleased to be joined this evening by my co-host, Roy Jones Jr., the bearer of 2 championship belts in the light heavyweight division. And Roy, we know there's no shortage of storylines going into this fight, but let's start with Lennox Lewis. He's complained, and with good reason, over the years that most of the big names in the heavyweight division have avoided him. He finally has the fight that will define his career, but some say he's not fought in a big fight. Is that a fair accusation or not?
It's fair, but yet it's still unfair. Reason being, James, because Lennox Lewis has been around searching for big fights for some time now. He searched for big fights against Riddick Bowe, never got him. He waited for a big opportunity against Mike Tyson, never got it. So therefore, he had to fill in substitutes. He had Bruno, he had McCall, he had Tommy Morrison, and a couple of other fights that were okay, but nothing to this magnitude. However, I do feel as though those fights got him prepared for a fight of this magnitude. So he's like a coon dog. He's always searched around for a raccoon. He finally has one tree. Now let's see what'll happen when that raccoon comes down from that tree.
So the enormity of this fight will not overwhelm him, you think?
No, I don't think so. He's had enough big fights in his country. The Razor Ruddock fight, the Frank Bruno fight, those were big fights to him. That was a war for his own home country in a sense. So he's been in enough big battles, I think, to prepare him for this properly.
And of course, many say that Evander Holyfield, we know him to be a warrior. He's got that reputation, 16-2 in world title fights. The question is, has he fought in one war too many? We will find the answer to that one as well, Roy, this evening. There are plenty of other dominant topics to be discussed this evening. That will be done by the guys calling the action ringside tonight. So let's head downstairs to Big George Foreman, Larry Merchant, and our anchor, Jim Lampley.
All right, thank you very much, James Brown. We will be calling a total of 4 fights tonight on the pay-per-view card, of which the main event, the heavyweight championship battle, could be the third or could be the last, depending on how long the earlier fights go. But as we look down the road to the heavyweight championship fight, we bring in a man who won the world title 2 separate times in his career. George Foreman, newspaper coverage here in New York this week prior to the fight, dominated by Evander Holyfield's uncharacteristic, not prediction in his words, he says a prophecy, a fact, that he'll knock Lennox Lewis out in the 3rd round. Do you think that Holyfield is trying to psych Lewis out, or is he trying to psych himself up?
Well, Evander Holyfield has become a hero, and all of our sports heroes start making these predictions. Remember Babe Ruth pointing to the flag post, hits the home run. Joe Louis telling his trainer, Chappie, you'll have to climb up the steps but once. And Broadway Joe, we're going to bring the Super Bowl, we're going to win it. So that's the way we do it sometimes. You get in that zone and you start talking like that. He's in that zone.
He's been selling the pay-per-view pretty effectively, too.
I like that.
According to what we can gather. For more on it, let's turn to HBO boxing analyst Larry Merchant, working with us as always live here on TVKO. Larry, do you think that Holyfield's unusual prophecy of a 3rd round knockout was triggered by Lewis having publicly called him a religious hypocrite for flaunting his religion in public while privately fathering children out of wedlock.
Punch, counterpunch. Has to be a connection. If Lennox Lewis, however, had gone out and predicted a third-round knockout, divinely inspired no less, we'd all be saying that he had gone bonkers, that he had gone mad before the big fight. But we take it with a mild sort of astonishment coming from Evander Holyfield, because he has a record in this regard, because we know that he uses his deep religious conviction to arm himself as he goes into battle. As a secular commentator, I'm reminded of the story of the reporter covering a devastating flood who wrote the lead, "God sat on a rock weeping." His editor wired back, "Forget flood, interview God." I've been trying to get confirmation of that pick all week long, but I couldn't find God to interview. However, if Evander Holyfield comes through with his prophecy, there'll be an awful lot of converts here, Jim, tonight.
Yes, one of our vice presidents, in fact, telling Evander, if you pull this off, I want to go to your church. But heavyweights in the climactic event of the evening, and heavyweights to start the evening off. We turn our attention to the ring.
Back in the days of John L. Sullivan and Jack Johnson, Jack Dempsey, Joe Louis, Marciano, Ali, or even Mike Tyson, the undisputed heavyweight champion was the king of the world, the man who beat the man who beat the man. And with that lofty title came a defining symbol of power, the heavyweight championship belt. But in recent years, that has all changed.
The worst thing that ever happened to the heavyweight division, or indeed to boxing, was when there became more than one world champion. Because that's an oxymoron. You can't have two world champions. There's only one world. What can you believe in anymore if there's not one heavyweight champion?
From 1980 through 1987, there were no less than 10 heavyweight champions. Men like Coetzee, Weaver, Tate, Dokes, Thomas, Page, Witherspoon, Tubbs, Smith, and Berbick, all of whom held pieces of the crown. Most importantly, the last time the heavyweight belt was unified was 1987, when Mike Tyson faced Tony Tucker.
Iron Mike Tyson!
Uncharacteristically, the unified title remained intact for 5 years with 3 different champions. Until a bizarre incident set the merry-go-round in motion again.
Riddick Bowe then defeated Evander Holyfield for the Unified Championship. The next week, if you recall, Riddick Bowe did not want to be mandated to fight Lennox Lewis, and so he took the WBC portion of his title and he threw it into the trash can.
For the WBC crown, Bowe's trashing of the belt was the beginning of a long and somewhat comical journey that has become increasingly difficult to follow.
Lennox Lewis kept the belt up until Oliver McCall.
Down goes Lewis.
Then Frank Bruno beat Oliver McCall.
Then Tyson come and take it from Bruno. So Tyson had the WBC belt.
Tyson was eventually stripped of his WBC title, after which Lennox Lewis regained the belt by beating an obviously troubled Oliver McCall. Now, if you think that was confusing, try and follow the course of IBF and WBA titles, the 2 belts Bowe still held.
So when I fought Bowe again, so I captured 2 of them belts back.
Hey, these guys want to fight!
Evander Holyfield lost 2 belts to Michael Moore. Michael Moore lost 2 belts to George Foreman. George Foreman was stripped of 2 belts at separate times.
Now, get out your pencils and paper. Michael Moore defeated Axel Schultz for the IBF title. As for the WBA title, well, Bruce Seldon acquired that by beating Tucker, but lost it to Mike Tyson.
So Tyson had the WBA. So I whooped Tyson, I get the WBA, and I beat Michael Moore. Now that's how I came to WBA and the IBF champion. Now, finally at last, we get a chance to put the puzzle back together. The puzzle get a chance to be complete.
And that's the beauty of Lewis Holyfield. When it's over,
no one's going to argue anymore.
Amen. It's been 6 long years since we've had a unified champion. After tonight, we can once again say the heavyweight champion of the world. The man who beat the man who beat the man who beat, well, you get the idea. And yes, both champions are putting an awful lot on the line. That is the belt of Lennox Lewis. He is putting his championship belt on the line tonight in an effort to try and get these 2 belts. They belong, of course, to Evander Holyfield. The unification bout between these 2. Now, keep in mind that George Foreman never had his belts stripped from him, never was beaten for his belt, so keep that in mind. A Big George can certainly lay claim to that, Roy. And Roy, now I talked to you a little bit earlier about Evander Holyfield and whether or not he has fought one too many war. You said no indeed, but folks talk about how you can get old very quickly in the ring. Have there been any signs that that could happen to Evander Holyfield tonight?
So far, there hasn't been any signs that his age will show up on him tonight. I think Evander's a guy who takes very good care of himself. I don't think he drinks. I don't think he ever smokes. I think he's a clean liver. When you have a guy who lives clean, it's very rare that age will just show up on him all of a sudden. If something happens to him tonight, it won't be because of his age. It'll be because of his opponent.
Okay, and his opponent, of course, is a very tough one indeed with a serious overhand right. As a matter of fact, he is standing by now with our own Nick Charles, who joins us for tonight's broadcast. Nick?
And WBC heavyweight champion of the world, Lennox Lewis, loosening up here on the training table with Emmanuel Stewart, his trainer. How does it feel, Lennox, with 7,000 British fans out there? How does that fortify you tonight here at the Garden?
It's definitely an added bonus. It's going to give me more inspiration as I step into the ring and more strength.
American audiences, on the other hand, have been slow to give you the respect you feel you've been due. Will that cause you perhaps to maybe press to prove them wrong?
Well, I'm going to go out there and do what comes naturally and make sure that I win. I'm coming here for the win. I'm not coming here to lose.
What comes naturally in this fight?
Just go out there and do what I've been taught and that I've been working for the last 10 years.
Emmanuel, is it crucial that Lennox is the most aggressive he's been?
Well, I think he's got to fight a very laid-out plan fight, and he's got to stick to his jab. And he's got 2 or 3 different routes that he can go in case the fight changes its course of direction.
You wanted a big ring, 22 feet. We measured it 18 feet. How does that hurt you?
It doesn't really hurt me. You know, I can box in any ring.
I would think that Evander would want to get in close and make this a steel cage match, perhaps. How do you feel about it, Emmanuel?
Well, it depends on how the fight goes. But, you know, I feel Lennox is a strong, powerful man, so he can handle himself in any situation.
The 3rd round prediction again. Did it humiliate you? Does it make you want to punish Evander Holyfield tonight?
You know, the 3rd round doesn't really bother me. He can say what he wants, but he has a lot to live up to.
Final thing, Lennox, you said that you've envisioned this fight. You woke up in the middle of the night and choreographed it in your mind. Now take us through it. It's about to happen.
Yeah, I'll take you through it when I get in there.
No secrets, huh? No tips?
No tips.
Any prediction?
Lennox Lewis will be victorious.
Okay, that's the story from Lennox Lewis's locker room. Now back to you, JB.
All right, Nick, thank you very much. And that is the same Lennox Lewis that we have seen all week long. Very quiet, very soft-spoken, but indeed quiet confidence being displayed. All right, folks, following tonight's coverage of the Holyfield-Lewis heavyweight unification bout, watch the post-fight press conference live on the internet with the Windows Media Player at www.holyfieldlewis.com. And at this time, TVKO would certainly like to thank all of our online partners. Coming up next on the undercard, main event, Evander Holyfield and Lennox Lewis in the unification bout in the heavyweight ranks. Evander Holyfield, folks, he has maintained he has not been bragging. It is not a prediction. He says it is a fact that he will take Lennox Lewis out in 3 rounds. Is that pressure on him? He says no, because he knows that is in fact what will take place. Lennox Lewis has traveled across the ocean. He says, in fact, this is his. Once again, we'd like to remind you that following tonight's coverage of the undisputed heavyweight championship between Evander Holyfield and Lennox Lewis, that you can watch the post-fight press conference live on the internet with the Windows Media Player at www.holyfieldlewis.com. Folks, this legendary arena hosting Holyfield-Lewis is not the original Madison Square Garden. This is building number 4. This building opened in 1968, but Madison Square Garden's boxing history started up over a century ago. Yes, prize fighting and Madison Square Garden have been around for a long, long time, and boxing certainly will continue after tonight's unification bout. But look around and you can certainly feel the electricity here this evening. Folks, Madison Square Garden is a hallowed ground in the annals of boxing history.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Madison Square Garden, the world's most famous arena.
The legend was born 116 years ago. The first Madison Square Garden originally hosted sometimes successful Wild West shows with the likes of Buffalo Bill. But when it needed a big attraction, it turned to boxing and the sport's first heavyweight champion, John L. Sullivan. Through the decades, 3 Madison Square Garden arenas followed, and so did the world's greatest prize fighters.
For the heavyweight championship of the world.
Years later, the growing worldwide popularity of this pugilist palace was noted by the late Harry Markson during a business trip to Rome and a chance meeting with the Pope.
A papal aide walked behind us with a clipboard to identify each one of these people. And when he got to me, he said, Harry Markson, Madison Square Garden, New York. And the Pope, his eyes lit up and he went, Madison Square Garden, boxing.
And still the heavyweight champion of the world, Joe Louis.
You're talking about genealogy here, and never mind if it was this.
The fight.
This is the first time that 2 undefeated heavyweight champions have met for the undisputed possession of the world heavyweight title.
We had Norman Mailer covering the fight for Life magazine, and Frank Sinatra was taking pictures. Everybody who was anybody had to be there.
And even anybody who wasn't anybody was dressed as if they were going to some kind of city coronation, urban coronation. It was just an incredible night.
A pulverizing left hook sends Ali to the canvas.
But as the years went by, big event fights like Ali Frazier shifted away with the arrival of the cash-rich casinos. Yet, despite the change in economics, this building still holds its glorious mystique and brings together Holyfield and Lewis into that 75-year-old ring.
And it was like all the forces in boxing for one night said, you know, we're going to do the whole thing right. We're going to match the 2 guys that should be fighting, and we're going to put them in the place where they should be fighting at Madison Square Garden, the #1 arena in the world for boxing.
So, the spirit that made Madison Square Garden boxing shines again. Tonight's unification battle nobly restores the house that Sullivan and other legends built to its longtime position of prominence. And folks, this is the very same ring that will be hosting another big championship fight right here at Madison Square Garden. The event is dedicated tonight to former Madison Square Garden boxing president Harry Markson. Now, Roy, you heard Nick mention that complaints from Lennox Lewis and Emmanuel Stewart about the 18-foot ring. Does it definitely favor Evander because he's 36 years of age?
Yes, it does. Number one, he doesn't have to use his legs that much because the ring is a lot smaller. Number two, he wants to catch up with Lennox Lewis. He needs to catch up with Lennox Lewis. So it was going to benefit him anyway because of the style. He needs to get to the inside in order to neutralize Lennox's long arms and his power.
But you had also maintained if the ring were bigger, it still wouldn't hurt Lennox or make that Evander Holyfield.
Would not hurt Evander at all. Evander is a vet. He's been in this game a long time. He knows how to catch up with his opponent, no matter how big or small the ring is.
All right, earlier this evening, Nick Charles caught up with Evander Holyfield when he got here to the arena. Here's what the interview discussed back then.
With the heavyweight champion of the world, Evander Holyfield. Madison Square Garden, Ali, Frazier, Lewis, Rocky, they've all been here. Given the sense of occasion in this building, what did you feel like walking in here tonight?
Well, you know, I'm just glad to be here and get this thing over, and I guess I can talk about it more when this thing is over.
In terms of intimidation, it's part of your war chest. Any feeling what Lennox Lewis would be feeling at this stage, at this moment?
Well, I'm really not over concerned with how you feel. I have a job to do. I'm just ready to do it.
How do you feel?
I feel great. Super.
What is Don Turner, your trainer, going to remind you of now in these minutes and moments leading up to this big moment?
Well, hopefully he won't have to remind me of anything. I look forward to doing everything right. And so I come back, he just pat me on my back and say, "You're doing good."
You predicted the third-round knockout. What specifically did you see in Lennox Lewis's style to make you say that?
Well, I didn't see anything. The fact is that he just happened to be the opponent tonight that just going to get knocked out. It's not because he have flaws. It's just the fact that in the game of boxing, everybody have flaws.
Will it cause you to press the issue, Evander, and you start hearing that third round coming to a close, and it maybe hasn't happened, maybe do something out of character?
Well, not really. I'm led by the Spirit, and the Spirit will lead me in the right time to do this.
18-foot ring is smaller than he wanted. How does it help you?
Well, it didn't make no difference. If we was in a big ring, it wouldn't make any difference. A small ring, it don't make any difference.
Final thought again, it's 3 rounds and it's over.
3 rounds is over.
Okay, Evander Holyfield. Short night at the office.
Short night.
All right, Nick, thank you very much. Coming up next, the main event, the heavyweight unification showdown between Evander Holyfield and Lennox Lewis. Champion Holyfield is indeed a warrior with riveting appeal. He has defied the odds so many times and done it by taking the path, folks, of most resistance. Champion Lewis finally gets the mega matchup he's been searching for, which he says will define his career. Held at the only center stage that is appropriate, it is the Mecca of boxing right here at Madison Square Garden. For over 14 years, Evander Holyfield has distinguished himself as one of the greatest warriors of all time. First becoming undisputed cruiserweight champion of the world, and then undisputed heavyweight champion. For over 10 years, Lennox Lewis has been searching for the perfect fight to define his career and showcase his talents to the world. When Mike Tyson fought Tony Tucker in 1987, it was the last time 2 heavyweights came together to unify the title. The significance of Holyfield-Lewis is that the heavyweights will now be the only division in boxing to have a unified champion. Holyfield and Lewis earned their titles by defeating Tyson, Moore, and McCall. After tonight, boxing's crown jewels will now have one home. One fighter is known for his heart, courage, and toughness.
And just like that, the champion struggles to stay on his feet. What a heart by Holyfield. Look at Holyfield. What a warrior. Reversing the tide of the battle. The champion now has bow wobbling.
The other fighter is known for his size, power, and big overhand right. Three belts on the line. 2 champions trying to solidify their place in history. One fight to answer so many questions. For over a century, the world's most famous arena has opened its As this century comes to a close, it's only fitting that the sport of boxing culminate the year with only one heavyweight champion. Moments from now, in boxing's most historic venue, both Evander Holyfield and Lennox Lewis will put their respective titles on the line for the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world. Tonight's telecast is being brought to you by Madison Square Garden, the world's most famous arena. MoneyGram, international money transfer. GTC, when every minute counts. Budweiser, undisputed, undefeated king of beers. And by TVKO, pay-per-view entertainment from HBO. Tonight, the Mecca of boxing is once again the focal point of fight fans around the world. For only the 4th time in this building's history, there is a sellout for a championship fight, as nearly 21,000 plus fans anxiously await this heavyweight unification bout. Approximately 7,500 loyal British fans, as you heard Jim Lampley mention, have made the trip across the Atlantic to be here, hoping to see Lennox Lewis become the first Brit to become the undisputed heavyweight champion since Bob Fitzsimmons did it in 1897. The gate for tonight, in excess of $12 million, second largest in boxing history. And with what's on the line tonight, folks, as usual, championship bouts and especially heavyweight bouts bring out the stars. Bill Parcells, football coach for the Jets. Jack Nicholson, who spends as much time here as he does on the Lakers sidelines with his old nemesis Spike Lee. Michael Douglas, they're all here, folks. Brian Gumbel, Patrick Ewing from the New York Knicks. And yes, Keith Richards, and you will hear the Brits cheer loud and clear for him. And good evening once again, everyone. I'm James Brown. Well, the showdown between the two best fighters in the heavyweight division is just moments away. And at the end of the night, one man will be the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. Who will that be? Well, according to Evander Holyfield, during the final press conference this past Wednesday, there is no doubt about the outcome.
Tell the people that you're just going to do what you're going to do. So I just told people, yeah, I'm going to knock him out in the 3rd round. I'm going to knock him out. It don't take anything from him, mean that he would fight a good fight.
Well, I'm joined now by my co-host, Roy Jones Jr., and the man who also has 2 championship belts in the light heavyweight division. We spent a lot of time with Evander Holyfield yesterday. You heard him talk so much about this 3rd round prediction. Is he putting too much pressure on himself? How does he avoid that big overhand right from Lennox Lewis?
Well, he's not putting too much pressure on himself. That's the way he wants the fight to end. If that's the way you want it to happen, if that's what your gut feeling is, then that's what you display. And that's what he's doing. The only way for him to avoid that big overhand right from Lennox Lewis is to get inside, work off of Lennox Lewis's jab, and try to get very close to him. That'll keep Lennox from being able to extend that overhand right and maybe catch him out on the end where it's most dangerous at.
Okay, we've talked a lot about Evander Holyfield. Definitely has earned that reputation as a warrior. He will press Lennox Lewis. That's what we think throughout the night. How does Lennox Lewis deal with that?
Well, Lennox has to mix up his jab. Use his jab, fake his jab, make it a quick jab sometimes, jab to the chest sometimes to keep Evander on the outside, and that way Evander can't counter his jab. If he doesn't do that, he's going to have a problem.
Now, we talk so much about that overhand right of Lennox Lewis. He does have another weapon, if he uses it, Roy, that is quite effective in setting up that overhand right.
And that is his left hook. But when he throws the left hook, it's going to make him close enough so that Evander can also hit him with a left hook or an overhand right.
All right, well, Evander Holyfield, when talking with us yesterday, put one final period on our conversation by referring to Hebrews 1:11 when talking about that 3rd round knockout. It is, as referenced, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Well, we will see. Right now, let's go back downstairs to our blow-by-blow announcer, Jim Lampley.
All right, thank you very much, James Brown. Let's get ready to learn once and for all who has been the heavyweight of the 90s. Working with me, one of the heavyweights of all time, George Foreman. George, let's go back to the by now tabloid immortalized 3-round Holyfield prophecy. Will it affect the way Evander fights the first 3 rounds?
I don't think so. I think that it was a good marketing idea. A lot of people who didn't think much of this fight are starting to think a lot about it now. One guy predicts a fight. Hey, why not? I'm buying it.
The tickets sold out months ago. You think Evander was just selling pay-per-view hookups with that?
Yeah, and he's a great champion. It's about time that he steps out of the shadow of Muhammad Ali, Joe Louis, and all of those and start predicting things. Why not? No one can predict the future, but you can sure talk about it.
Carrying some of the economic destiny of the sport on his shoulders, the man now, Evander Holyfield. Well, here also the man in terms of fight analysis, Larry Merchant. And Larry, heavyweight championship fights are by definition exercises in hype. In this arena, all of that is multiplied in impact. Now we're ready for the bout. Can it live up to its buildup?
Well, if we can get some of these American fans here who've spent all this money for tickets to reply to some of the raucous Brits we hear starting to buzz up into an electrical craziness in the background, perhaps they will inspire some spontaneous combustion in the ring. I just want to say that this has been against the backdrop of an American century for heavyweights. And Evander Holyfield carries forth that tradition in a way that seems so familiar to us. He is a highly skilled, well-schooled professional prize fighter with uncommon, very, very uncommon winning attitude, true grit. Lennox Lewis is the 13th British heavyweight of this century who has tried to climb this mountain. All the others have tumbled off or been knocked off. He may be as strong as all of them combined, but the one man he has to beat tonight does have more skill and probably has more will than any other fighter. The drama is implicit in the stakes. It's implicit in this nostalgic sight for great fights. The rest is up to the heavyweights to turn us on so that we turn them on.
And as we go up to the ring for two national anthems, Larry, we'll also hear the traditional 10-count eulogy for a fallen idol.
And that would be Joe DiMaggio, who was an avid fight fan. And to me, my boyhood hero, I thought the sun was a personal spotlight when Joe DiMaggio stood in center field.
The spotlight now falls on ring announcer Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please. Before we bring out our fighters in our main event of the evening, we'd like your attention for a solemn moment, as we would like to take this opportunity to pause and give a boxing tribute of a 10 count in honor of a great New York sports figure and baseball legend, Joe DiMaggio, who recently passed away. As a sports hero to many, he was one of the regular attenders here at the big fights at Madison Square Garden. And at this time, we ask you to rise and remain silent as our timekeeper tolls 10 in honor of the fallen legend of baseball, the great Joe DiMaggio. Thank you very much for your attention, ladies and gentlemen. May God rest his soul. Please remain standing as at this time we present the national anthems of the respective world champions in our main event this evening. First, on behalf of the WBC heavyweight champion, our visitor from Great Britain, we present the singing of God Save the Queen. Please lead us, a fine Londoner. How about a hand of welcome to Henry Brown.
God save our gracious Queen, long live our noble Queen, God save our Queen. Send her victorious, happy and glorious, long to reign over us. God save our Queen. England! England!
Thank you very much to Henry Brown. Now, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the defending WBA and IBF heavyweight world champion, my pleasure to introduce you at this time to lead us in the U.S. national anthem. Please welcome the very popular and talented R&B recording artist. How about a hand of welcome to D'Angelo.
Oh, say, can you early life was so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, all the ramparts we watched were so gallantly, yeah, streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you very much to D'Angelo.
Tale of the tape between Evander Holyfield and Lennox Lewis. 3-year age advantage for the British fighter. 3 inches taller. The 31-pound weight differential, the biggest disadvantage Holyfield has faced in that category since April 19, 1991, when George Foreman outweighed him by 48 pounds. 215 pounds, the same weight Holyfield carried when he first beat Mike Tyson by knocking him out in the 10th round. Also the same weight Muhammad Ali brought into the ring 28 years ago against Joe Frazier. 6.5-inch reach advantage for Lewis. Punch stat numbers, Larry.
These numbers will give you an idea of how active these fighters were against a common opponent, Ray Mercer, 3 years ago. As you can see, Holyfield throws fewer punches. He is frequently, by nature, a counter-puncher. Jabs, Lewis is the more active with the jab. For Holyfield, the jab is primarily a range finder as well.
Rules of the bout with our unofficial ringside scorer, Harold Letterman.
The Evander Holyfield Lennox Lewis bout is scheduled for 12 rounds using those rules of the Association of Boxing Commissions. There is no standing 8 count.
into the ring. Olympic gold medal in 1988, defeating Riddick Bowe to win it as a professional. 34 wins. The 1 second-round knockout, lost 1 punch at the hands of McCall, later avenged. 27 knockouts for the 2-time belt holder from England. Holyfield must take essentially the same path to the ring. Not nearly as difficult a trek so far for Evander and his entourage. For Holyfield, 2 to Riddick Bowe, 1 to Michael Moorer. 36 wins, 25 knockouts, but with the sole exception of his knockout against Buster Douglas, against larger fighters, Holyfield has almost always gone the distance. Against Foreman, twice against Bowe, and recently against Vaughn Beam. Now let's go up to ring announcer Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you to the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden in New York City, for our featured bout of the evening, brought to you by Don King Productions in association with Panics of the U.S. Main events: Madison Square Garden, TVKO, and the undefeated, undisputed king of beers, Budweiser. This Bud's for you. As this is a unification attraction, this bout is directed under the auspices of the following sanctioning bodies: the World Boxing Association President Gilberto Mendoza, Supervisor Dr. Elias Cordova, the World Boxing Council President Jose Suleiman, Supervisor Gabriel Peña Carricano, the International Boxing Federation President Robert Lee Sr., Supervisor Walter Stone, and the New York State Athletic Commission, the Chairman, the Honorable Mel Southard, Commissioner Rose Tretman, Special Assistant to the Chairman Jim Posanello, Executive Director Tony Russo. Our physicians at ringside for this bout: Chief Physician is Dr. Billy Lathan, along with Dr. Robin Scarlatta, Dr. Rufus Sandler, and Dr. Richard Estrico. Timekeeper at the bell, Jim Borzell. Keeping count of the knockdowns, Wayne Kelly. Introducing to you our judges, whose responsibility is to judge this bout from ringside: from Johannesburg, South Africa, Stanley Christodoulou; from London, England, Larry O'Connell; from Atlantic City, New Jersey, Eugenia Williams; and our referee in charge of this bout, following in the tradition of his father, who was the third man in the ring some 28 years ago when Ali fought Frazier here at the Garden. The son is working in this, his 13th world title bout, Arthur Mercanti. All right, fans, here we go. It's the moment you've all been waiting for. And now, ladies and gentlemen in attendance, and boxing fans joining us around the world, live from Madison Square Garden, it's time for the main event of the evening: 12 rounds of boxing for the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world. Introducing to you the WBC champion on my right, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing red trunks with gold trim, and hailing from London, England. He weighed in at 246 pounds, with a record of 34 wins, 1 loss. He has 27 big wins coming by way of knockout. Please welcome the 1988 Olympic gold medalist, now in his 2nd reign as world champion. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen, the hard-hitting, 2-time and current WBC heavyweight champion of the world, introducing Lennox Lewis. And his opponent across the ring on my left, fighting out of the red corner, entering the ring wearing purple trunks with white trim and hailing from Atlanta, Georgia. He weighed in at a ready 215 pounds. His record stands at 36 wins, 3 losses, 25 wins coming by way of knockout. Please welcome the former undisputed cruiserweight world champion, the former undisputed heavyweight world champion, only the 2nd man in history to have captured the heavyweight crown 3 times. Ladies and gentlemen, here is boxing's warrior, the IBF and WBA heavyweight champion of the world, introducing Evander, the real deal Holyfield. Once again, a referee in charge now to give instructions, Arthur McKenzie.
Good evening, gentlemen. You received the rules earlier tonight. Let's have a nice, clean fight, touch gloves, and good luck to the both of you.
Praise the Lord and pass the ammunition.
Judge ready here. Judge, you ready? Judge ready here.
Only 3 men left in the ring, and we're underway. Holyfield seeming to slip as Lewis landed the first punch of the bout. Lewis's job to fire his jab and be aggressive behind it. Holyfield's job to get inside of Lewis's range and fight him at close quarters. The chant in the background, Lewis, 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 from the English fans, mostly in the 2nd and 3rd decks. Here in the expensive seats at floor level, almost all Holyfield fans.
And Lewis, although he's aggressive now, he prefers if the fight comes to him. So if Evander starts being a bit more aggressive, it's not going to make him uncomfortable. Evander should bounce away, wait for Lewis to stop doing whatever he's going to do, and jump on him for doing nothing.
Critics say there are 2 Lennox Lewises. The occasionally aggressive fighter who fires his jab and hurries with the right hand behind it, or the occasionally timid fighter who lays the jab out there, uses it as a rangefinder, and waits to land his right hand. The second of the 2 is the one who is regarded as easily beatable by Evander Holyfield. The first of the 2 would be a package for the smaller Holyfield to handle.
You know, in the dressing room, they complain about Evander Holyfield's cup being high. Then you come out and see Lennox Lewis is wearing his cup almost up to his chest. What a great strategy by by Emanuel Stewart.
Well, I told you about Stewart's track record in heavyweight title fights. Don Turner in the other corner is top drawer as well. Left hook by Holyfield, blocked by Lewis. Lewis using his long arms so far to fend Holyfield off and keep him at range.
What you want to do, Lewis, you are the taller man. Just don't get low. Make sure every punch that Evander Holyfield throw is up high. Catch him with your hand. Evander should go to the body. He can't protect that.
Double jabs for Lewis. Missed over the top with the right hand a moment ago. The English fans will ooh and ah whenever Lewis unleashes the big overhand right. And so far in the first round, Lewis has been in and out with the jab. Sometimes firing it aggressively, sometimes just laying it out there. Left hook lands for Holyfield.
But because Lewis is up high, non-effective. You want to get caught on the end of those punches and not get flesh, so just keep your height. Evander Holyfield should get to that body and make him drop those hands.
And Holyfield trying to tackle Lewis in the middle of the ring, and Lennox smiles at him as if to say, what the heck was that all about?
He's not going to go on with me in the ring, okay? Let's keep it clean.
Let him rest, ref.
Us folks are going to have a clean fight. We're going to keep it clean.
You won the first round.
You're telling the same thing.
You won the first round. Water, Court. Water. Give me water, Court.
Right here.
That's what you was working on in training. Instead of shooting the right hand first, moving back.
You know you're getting away from his right hand good, and his chin is right there. When you stop it, nail him with yours.
Hold it, Don.
Seconds out, gentlemen.
One of Evander Holyfield's minor prophecies for this fight is that he would dominate every minute of the fight from bell to bell. That didn't happen in the first round.
That goes by the wayside because Holyfield only threw 17 punches in round one, reminiscent of the difficulty he had getting off against Bo, particularly in the third fight when he couldn't even throw 40 punches around. 17 punches around won't win for Evander Holyfield, and he cringes against the ropes as Lewis lands a right hand. Bigger man, George, bigger punch.
This is one of those fights you just want to sit back and let it happen.
You know, if you didn't know about his third round prediction, you would be guessing that you would be saying that Holyfield looked sluggish. But here we're just sort of waiting for him to wake up in the third round.
Lennox Lewis is right where he want to be. Evander is allowing him to just stand up straight and stick his left hand out. Evander should close the distance.
Well, we were under the impression that Evander was going to try to get inside him, but so far he really hasn't tried that.
You heard Don Turner telling Holyfield that he was doing a good job of getting away from the right hand. But when Lewis fires the jab, he's landing it. That's how he won the first round.
I think the problem here is Evander is really looking for a knockout. He's not trying to be active. And the ropes being so close to his back, every time he makes one step, he hits the ropes. That's not helping him because he has to fold up and let Lewis land those right hands.
Well, the suspicion is that it was Holyfield who wanted the smaller ring so that he could fight Lewis at closer quarters. But he hasn't been in there so far.
Yeah, he takes a couple of bounces. There's a good left hook by Evander Holyfield. You got to shake this young man up. You got to do something to make his nerves unravel.
Lewis, who seemed very composed when we met with him yesterday, has not looked nervous in the first two rounds here.
Break. Step back.
Quiet here at floor level, where the Holyfield fans are wondering why their man doesn't get off. Raucous noise in the upper deck, where the Englishmen are enjoying Lewis's early dominance. Body shot by Lewis, partially blocked.
Lewis, obvious strategy, keeping that long, big left hand out to try to thwart anything that Holyfield could get started, George.
Now, Lewis' back is starting to go to the ropes, and that's not where you want to be. Once his back starts touching the rope, Holyfield is going to get confident.
But once again in round two, Evander Holyfield very sparing in his punch output.
Hold out. This round he go out, y'all. He out of here.
Man, I see exactly what you're doing. Don't get careless.
Don't get careless. This end of this round right here. Sure. He out of here. Can I go to the round? Yeah,
Early in the round, Lewis went after Holyfield, pinned him on the ropes, didn't hit him with anything big. but punished him with those shots on the arms and the back. But it's been the jab that has dominated the first 2 rounds. You just heard Holyfield say to his corner, this is the round he goes out. So either he doesn't have it tonight or he's been saving it for right now, and he comes out in a very aggressive posture.
Well, if he opens up to try to fulfill the round 3 prophecy, does Lewis get a chance with the right hand? Lewis 21 of 54 with the jab in the first 2 rounds. Holyfield has only thrown 24 punches in rounds 1 and 2. You know what Holyfield said about round 3. Holyfield attacking to the body, his most aggressive combination so far. Over the top with the right hand. Did he get into Lewis's head? Did he make Lewis fear round 3?
You know, the good thing that Evander Holyfield chose those gloves, because he's planning on putting his hands on his head to block the shots. And the gloves he's using has a bigger pad right by the blocking on the wrist there. So he was clever in picking those gloves.
Leaving Lewis with what are called the puncher's gloves.
It's like a pillow.
Holyfield landed a left hook inside and lands a right hand, and Lewis is stunned. Evander attacking, trying to fulfill the prophecy. Lewis seemingly trying to collect himself as he stands in the corner and waits. Holyfield misses with the haymaker.
At some point, you want to make sure you're conservative now. Evander Holyfield has got 12 rounds to go. Throwing the big shots like that.
Lewis lands the uppercut for the first time in the fight and lands again as Holyfield tries to come inside. 1 minute to go in the prophecy.
It seems that he's real effective when he attacks Lennox Lewis. I don't know why he stops. Lewis had better pick his hands up, keep his hands up. That's about all he can do.
I think he's trying to set him up for something, George. I don't know what it is. The right hand right there.
Right cross landed flush for Holyfield. Lewis seemingly stunned again. Tries to come back with an uppercut. Now Lewis lands his right cross.
Boy, he made a choice with those gloves. Right on the wrist, they have power to block shots.
The fight is on.
10 seconds to go in the prophecy. And so much for the round 3 knockout.
And Holyfield goes very slowly back to his corner.
Put water on my head.
Put water on his head.
This is cold.
Now you know you can get it. You know you can get it. All you got to do is do it. Stop throwing hooks. Feint him with the hook and hit him with the right hand first.
All right. Like that pushing, right? Okay.
Sir, what's your heavy?
Lennox, go back to your speed. Don't worry about nothing. Get to your jab. Listen very carefully. Your jab is the key. Get back to your jab again. You will see the opening. If you keep jabbing enough, you will see the opening.
Here we see Holyfield making his effort to fulfill a prophecy, the left hand. He really never got it going. Later in the round, that right hand landed flush on the nose. Didn't bother Lewis. And Holyfield seems a little discouraged sitting in the corner. Now he has a long fight in front of him, perhaps.
Harold Letterman, how do you have it through 3?
Jim, 29-28, 2 rounds to 1, Lennox Lewis. Certainly he had it when he won the first 2 rounds because Evander didn't do much. But Evander won that 3rd round a lot bigger than Lennox won the first 2. So, very interesting fight. Lennox with the jab wins the first 2 rounds. Evander with the good hooks wins the 3rd.
But as Evander Holyfield throws those left hooks, note that he's not listening to his corner. Don Turner told him, feint with the hook, throw the right cross first. Holyfield keeps trying to come with his bread and butter, the left hook.
And that's the problem. Holyfield has never had the power to recuperate with the big guys. So after he spends his money, he has to wait a long time to get a second win. And Lennox Lewis is allowing him to get a second win.
Lewis fighting at a slow pace, but landing most of his punches. And when he throws the jab, he keeps Holyfield out at range.
And he can do this all night. Just jab and use your reach. Throw your right hand only if you see it. Good. Holyfield is having to reach for those right hands now. Lewis is taking advantage of his height advantage. What you want the shorter man to do is reach for everything.
Lewis lands the jab and fires the right cross. The more aggressively Lewis fights, the better he does, just as Emanuel Stewart has told him all along would be the case. Right hand lands again for Lewis.
Now you notice Lewis is not putting his body into his right hand yet. Just kind of slinging him out there for measurements.
Good or bad, George?
I think it's really good because you don't want to throw nothing away. You want to make sure, hey, I'm making contact. When I do zero in, I'm going to go for the big one.
Look at how unstoppable Lewis is when he fires the jab with frequency.
He just doesn't believe in his jab, though.
Left hook lands for Holyfield. Backs Lewis into the corner again. Right hand lands inside for Holyfield. Lewis partially blocked to left.
Nothing happens when Lewis stands straight up. It's when he starts to bend as the fight go on, that's when the problems may start. That's when Holyfield can land 4 and 5 shots.
Lewis again missing just over the top with the right hand. Holyfield again blocking with his gloves.
Oh boy. Chose the right gloves. One fighter is using one brand and another is using the other brand. One brand is for punching and the other brand is for blocking.
Holyfield blocking, Lewis punching. Lewis with a right hand and a left hook. Tough round to score.
Evander Holyfield did very little in that round except for a two-punch flurry.
Up too straight. Okay. You got to back this guy up. He don't like to be backed up. You got to back him up. Okay.
All right, you want to cool down? Rain the shots from underneath. You're jabbing, you're driving him down, and now you're shooting over top the head. I keep bing, and shoot the shot from up underneath. You haven't cut him in the body at all tonight. You're not one body punch your shot down here.
Off the ropes.
Okay. Cut him to the body some, and then start bringing the left uppercut some.
Keep your feet up under there. Keep your feet up under.
Close your eyes and listen. Take it to him a little bit more. Take it to him a little bit.
We've had less spontaneous combustion than a sort of planned obsolescence so far.
Lewis threw 36 jabs in round 4, 17 of them landed. You see that he gets the round on the Letterman card and goes up 3 rounds to 1 there.
Holyfield starts to step in with his jab a little bit. Now that'll help him out. Make the big man stoop down. Make the big man bend his waist.
Holyfield stepping in the jab to the body, George, but reaching to do so. And you heard Emanuel Stewart say, come up with the uppercut. Lewis lands a right hand. Holyfield stunned against the ropes. Hard right hand by Lewis. Holyfield on the defensive. Right hand lands again. Thunder in round 5 for Lewis. To the body. Following Stewart's instructions.
Holyfield wants to catch him reaching with his right hand and land one at the same time.
Is he hurt or is he playing possum? Is he hurt or is he playing possum, George? He's hurt.
Yeah, he's had some body punching and they hurt.
And the uppercut landed flush. Long time left in the round. Finishing time for Lewis. Mercanti came over to get a good look at Evander, as if to say, why aren't you throwing back?
Holyfield started to react a little when he saw the referee coming.
Good move.
Yeah, that's an old job when you're a good fighter like that. Make the other guy throw everything he has away and then jump him.
Home court advantage for Lewis for the moment as the crowd upstairs chants for their man.
Lewis is doing a good job of keeping his hands up so far. Holyfield is having to reach and jump for everything he gets.
And this is another round in which Holyfield is going to have a low punch output unless he gets busy right now. Lewis's size, his jab, all conspiring to limit Holyfield's punch output. Evander just not getting off.
Evander Holyfield has started to fight. All of the strategy and everything is going out of the window now.
He can't win a boxing match this way. Now he goes to the body.
Once Lewis starts to bend his waist, trouble starts. You got to stay up. And Evander Holyfield has done a good job of making him bend every now and then.
Blood along the bridge of the nose of Lewis as he busts Holyfield with a 4-punch combination. Good footwork for Lewis there. Holyfield reaching but not finding anything.
Right now, Evander Holyfield looks like an old fighter.
Look at the connect percentage for Lennox Lewis.
With his long arms, Lewis hit Holyfield behind the head and may have disoriented him. And later in the round, holding him, punishing him. This was the way Holyfield was supposed to look against Lewis, with Lewis backed on the ropes and Holyfield raking him.
Okay. Keep backing him up. This man is so slow. When you look at this tape, you're going to blow your mind. Come on, get up that big cousin. He's slow.
You heard Evander Holyfield say, sorry, Emanuel Stewart say, right now this man looks slow. You wouldn't believe it on the tape. But it's only 5 rounds, and nobody has ever dealt with a crisis better than Evander Holyfield.
Lennox Lewis had a fight plan to come in aggressively behind his jab, to find the right hand occasionally, and to keep Evander Holyfield out away from him at range. So far, he's following it almost to the teeth, but Holyfield lands a big left hook as Lewis carelessly drops his right hand.
Getting a little arrogant. Not a good idea against this great warrior.
You got to give Holyfield respect every moment that bell has not rung. You got to give him respect.
You can't make a mistake like that. Lewis lackadaisical for a moment and paid big time.
And I think it's a good little cat and mouse game Holyfield is playing.
You think he's playing possum, Joe?
I think he's played a lot of possum tonight.
Well, he may find himself playing himself possum out of the championship. He doesn't wake up soon.
It's hard to see how he's going to win any rounds this way.
While Lewis drops his hand and bends over, it's a mystery to me. He has a little swelling and a little blood on his face.
Lewis with blood on the bridge of his nose. Holyfield grinning a little bit as he stalks. Tries to get inside again.
Holyfield might find that any round you get a knockout is just as good as prophecy as anything.
Maybe if it's a multiple of 3, like 6.
Yep. Or 9, huh? That's not a multiple, yeah.
That'll do. Yeah, you got it. Uppercut right for Lewis. Thunder on Holyfield's chin.
You follow a boxer and take his crown. You follow a puncher and you get knocked down.
When he was asked what would happen if he didn't win in 3 rounds, Holyfield said there's no plan B. And right now there doesn't appear to be one.
He's just naturally fighting, and I mean he's doing a good job of fighting now.
Lewis holding his left hand below his waist, George, inviting a right hand lead from Holyfield.
He's a little perplexed, so to speak. I don't know why he drops his hand.
Turner asked Holyfield to fire right hand leads, asked him to feint with the left hook and come back with the right cross. Evander hasn't done that. This is no Mike Tyson that Evander can push around the ring. He gets pushed backward when they come together.
You don't follow a puncher around. You just don't do that.
Arrogance of Lewis as he walks around the ring with his hands below his waist.
And Evander Holyfield looks dispirited.
Lennox, you got old. I got it, man. You got old on you that quick, Lennox. Talk to him. Keep your hands up.
Yes.
And keep your hands up.
Back to your jam. You have to demand his side. If you ever sat down and open up, this fight is over with. You're too tender. You're hitting the man, but you're playing too much. If you sat down and say, I'm going to sit down and dig with all this power shots in here, it's going to be over.
About his cup being up at his chest. We don't have any target at all. Look at his cup. It's red right now.
If you get into your rhythm and throw combinations, what you're looking for will just flow. It'll come.
Here you see where a little arrogance creeps into Lewis's style, inviting a combination that landed but didn't land with full force.
Lennox Lewis only threw 22 jabs in that round. Emanuel Stewart, between rounds, leading with his fighter to throw more jabs. Be less tentative.
Holyfield marked up. You think, George, that Lewis is getting the best advice now, in which he was told to go out there and really dig now, and he thinks he can get a knockout? Where Emanuel Stewart...
They both go down in the corner. Arthur Mercanti is going to rule it a slip. Harold Letterman, how do you have it halfway through the fight?
Okay, Jim. 5 rounds to 1. 59-55, Lennox Lewis. And the judges really see the clean punches and the effective aggressiveness. You can't miss shots like that, Jim. And the only aggressive round
Holyfield is hurt, and Lewis better not play with him.
Holyfield waiting against the ropes as Lewis tries to load a right hand. You can almost hear Stewart say, throw the doggone thing. Don't wait.
Well, he saw that he was playing possum, and he refused to throw it.
And he was not playing possum. He was actually hurt. But Lewis has seen a few tricks tonight, and so he's going to be conservative.
Maybe he says to himself, hey, I'm winning the boxing match with ease. Why gamble?
And that's nothing wrong with that. You win, you win.
The judges are from South Africa, England, and the USA. Left hand blocked.
That Evander Holyfield's got a left hook to the body that's really painful. Lewis evidently has one too.
Yeah, because Lewis just folded Holyfield over with a left hook to the body.
I mean it. Tonight Holyfield is going to have to fight, and it won't be anything but a fight.
Big right hand lands for Lewis. Holyfield again inactive, not throwing many punches. Uppercut, uppercut. Right hand. Holyfield stunned in the middle of the ring. Lewis misses. Goes to the body. If you want to finish...
Don't follow him, Holyfield. Don't follow him.
If you want to finish, Lennox, go to the body.
You don't want to follow a puncher when he's hurting you. Now, he should back up and try to catch him coming in with something.
There goes the chance in the upper deck again. Left hook partially blocked. Uppercut again. Now Lewis traps himself in the corner.
And he leans on the back of Holyfield. That really takes a lot out of you when a big man lean on your back like that.
Left hook inside for Holyfield after Lewis's uppercut was partially blocked.
Holyfield has abandoned everything now. He's just throwing big hooks. And let me tell you, when Lewis starts to bend his weight just a little bit, he's going to get caught with one.
Big round for Lennox Lewis.
You see the way you finish that round? That's the way you got to start it and finish it the same way. These guys don't want to fight.
Make him happy, that's all. Drink.
Breathe out, Lennox.
And swallow this too, okay?
Lennox, we the undisputed champion. Stay with the angle.
I told you you were
in
going
the
to play with
speed.
this man, didn't I?
You'd have a lot of fun. Blow it up, a little bit more power on the shots now. Okay, but you graduate and get back to your jab. The main thing is your jab and keep your hands up.
In round 7, by CompuBox numbers, Holyfield was 8 of 21. Lennox Lewis, 33 of 59, including 22 of 32 power shots. Don Turner is getting more desperate as he asks his fighter to fight.
Lewis is just stepping back a little bit and just dropping right hands. He's got his defense set now. He doesn't have to back up at all anymore.
George Holyfield hasn't gotten inside except on a very few occasions.
Yeah, because Holyfield is more effective when his opponent is coming to him. Lewis is stepping back just a little bit to make Holyfield reach out at everything he gets.
You remember, Jim, when we did the punch stat, I reminded everyone that Holyfield basically likes to be a counterpuncher. And he's not getting a chance to do the counterpunching here.
Lewis is acting like a matador. He stands there, jab, 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 and then slides left and right.
Little combination for Lewis. Not a lot of velocity behind the punches, but he stays active. Holyfield gets in a couple little whacks to the body, but generally speaking, punch combinations few and far between for Evander.
Evander's getting into a jabbing contest, and that's not what he wants right now. This guy has a good jab, and his trainers told him to use it. You need to stay close and just touch him every now and then. Just get a little closer and stay closer. You see, you don't have to hit him hard, just stay close. Make him unravel.
Put your hands. Great, go, time. Evander.
Right cross, left hook, both landed for Lewis. Holyfield walking in, but not punching.
Well, that jab of Lewis has really been a good Sugar Ray Robinson left jab now. He just doesn't seem to believe in it enough.
Holyfield manages to force an uppercut through Lewis's guard and tries to attack, but Lewis bending him off, staying at range, using his jab, occasionally pounding Evander with the right hand, generally having his way. You could make a case, I know it isn't there on Letterman's guard, but you could make a case that the Englishman has won every round so far.
You're pulling into it. Watch.
Right hand stops Evander in his tracks again.
Come on. You're pulling him, he's heading to you. Let's go.
Evander Holyfield may be a warrior, but he's a silent warrior right now.
You have to wonder whether that prophecy has just taken all the heart out of him, or whether it was just wishful thinking on his part.
You got to start pumping your head.
Coming in, he's going left.
And start taking left up.
You won that round.
Something that came in, that was very, very effective. Let's get back to what we worked on.
Right back to basics.
This is the most effective jab we have seen Lennox Lewis for a long time. That long jab there. It's not a punishing jab, but Holyfield can't get away from it, can't launch anything, and even that quick right hand is almost like a jab. By keeping it busy, Holyfield is unable to mount an attack.
And you see the numbers from CompuBox on jabs through round 8. It's been a wipeout. Lewis using his jab so far to dominate the action against Holyfield. In round 8, Lewis threw 36 jabs and landed half of them. Holyfield 6 of 12. Lewis bouncing a little bit now as round 9 begins.
Now that's what Holyfield wants. Get Lewis to bounce and get off the pitcher's mound, so to speak. Then you can get something going. But as long as you got him standing there, it's like batting practice. Make him bounce, you bounce, make him miss, and then counter.
There's a little bit of urgency now in Holyfield's step. You can sense that he knows he has to get going.
Evander Holyfield has been past 8 rounds 10 times in his career. Lewis only 4, and Lewis has never had a knockout past the 8th. But why would he need it? Right now, with 4 rounds to go, on Harold Letterman's card at least, Lewis is ahead by 6 points. So the fighter who needs a knockout as we come down the stretch here is the warrior in the purple trunks.
Lewis, every now and then, whenever he drops his hand or bend his waist, he get in trouble. But as long as he's straight up, it's his night.
Lewis, well aware that he's not skilled as an infighter, told us that when Holyfield came inside, he would tie him up or push him away. And you see him doing exactly that here.
Now, I don't know about who's the better infighter tonight, but I think Lewis is looking like the better one when you think about what's going in.
Well, when he uses the uppercut, George, he triples his effectiveness as an infighter. Stewart got him to start using it after the 4th round, and it's made a difference.
Lewis is boxing now.
There is certainly not a lot of drama here. It's lived down to its worst possible scenario.
Lewis, all he has to do is keep his right hand up and just circle Holyfield to his right. Go to his right and make him throw his left hook.
Lewis landed a short right hand with a thud. Thought for a minute he might have Holyfield hurt. Evander comes pressing forward and firing the left.
It's going to be a fight. Lewis is not going to be given to him, nor will it be given to Holyfield.
Time running out on Holyfield. 3 rounds to go after this.
Lewis is taking some of the power out of his punches, and he's just thumping. That's even better, because if Holyfield charges him a little bit, he can even put a little power to it.
Evander reaching with a right hand. Lewis ties him up again. Crowd in the expensive seats at floor level, largely silent as they are mystified by Lewis's dominance of their man.
Has Lewis got a cut?
Round like that.
3 more rounds, bro.
Around like that. Almost doing something. He's reacting to you.
Gotta make him fight you. You gotta make him fight you. Get in close and dog him, man.
Come on, right up here.
Move your glove. Move your glove. Do it again after you do it.
Yeah, I bet. Just keep working the jab. Keep your hands up. Keep working the jab. Jabbing from up on top. You understand?
Let it go.
Jabbing from up on top.
There it is.
Okay? Jabbing from on top. Don't jab from jabbing low. Your man cannot avoid you.
Great job of doing it. No problem.
Move your head. That round. You can
All
take
he
the round.
want to do is survive. Don't let him survive.
Now, please. Okay, keep your hands up.
Keep pumping your jabs from the top. Jabbing from... Come on, let's go.
Evander Holyfield has had some surprises and miracles in his career. He needs one for these last 3 rounds.
Harold, how do you have it through 9?
Jim, 7 rounds to 2, 88-83, Lennox Lewis. I like Evander Holyfield. He gets aggressive, but I've only seen aggressiveness in 2 rounds, and that's the 3rd of the night. I thought he pulled out the night by getting aggressive, just like he's doing now.
Here comes the aggressiveness. Here comes the Holyfield rally. Here comes the indomitable warrior we've seen so many times.
Actually, Lewis was caught complaining, and he got himself in trouble.
Sit back.
He's complaining about headbutts.
Let me tell you, when you're fighting Holyfield, he brings out everything. Headbutt, kick, slinging. He's been doing everything tonight, picking up guys.
Well, Lewis isn't the first fighter to complain that Holyfield butts. Mike Tyson spent a lot of time talking to referees in Nevada about that.
Evander knows how to be a rough fighter, and it's a rough game.
Yeah, but Joe Lewis would never revert to all of that.
Hard right hand for Holyfield. Biggest punch in a while. Lewis landed the jab and left it out there while Holyfield stepped in and landed the right.
Great. You know, Evander is picking up some steam here. And every time he steps back, when he catches that right hand, you got to keep it on him, Evander.
First minute and a half of the 10th round, enough to give the Holyfield contingent hope. Now the action slows again.
He's got to keep it on. He just can't wait back there. Every time he hurts Lennox, he backs up, takes a deep breath.
Right cross landed for Lewis.
Holyfield got a little bit of it himself.
Steps inside and grabs. Holyfield blowing air through his mouthpiece. Lewis tries to go back to using his jab.
You know what? That's what you want the smaller, the shorter arm a fighter to do, is keep following you, reaching. Reach out for everything you get, make him miss by keeping your hands up.
Uppercut landed again for Lewis.
Holyfield should be closer. You just got to stay close. Anything good is going to happen because Holyfield is close.
Yeah, when they're out at range like this, Evander just can't deal with him. For that reason, jab, jab, jab.
Lewis goes to the body 2 or 3 times, and he comes back up to the head. Floyd Patterson would love that.
This guy, man, you got to stay close and you got to work hard, man.
You took care of me. I like the last one. That's all you got to do.
How you feel, man?
Good. In front of that round, just like we want you to. Push the man back, Lennox. You start pushing him back, you're going to do a lot better.
That was his last stand,
back, okay? Push him back. He won. Don't put too much water because we got him to win here. Okay. Start pushing him back.
Here's where Holyfield come in and butted Lewis in the head. Lewis is complaining and caging him. Later in the round, the best punch Holyfield has thrown perhaps in this fight.
And they both landed right hands in that sequence. Fascinatingly, round 10 was Holyfield's best in CompuBox numbers. 21 out of 55 punches. But Lewis was 31 of 48, including 24 of 37 jabs. So he continues to pound the jab with accuracy.
Lewis does not need to get into the counter-punching game. You want to keep Holyfield waiting. You want to keep leading. Don't be a counter-puncher. Start the fight. Land the first punch and the last punch.
You know, going into this fight, conventional wisdom was that Holyfield had the skill, Lewis had the strength, but Lewis has simply outskilled him tonight.
You know what? All of the talk about Evander may have had too many wars. It hasn't seemed like it tonight.
You don't think Evander's had too many wars?
No, Evander's very strong. He's not winning the fight in a fantastic way, but let me tell you, his legs aren't shaking. He hasn't been knocked down clearly. All of the effects of an old fighter, they just have not happened to him tonight.
Well, that's good, but he's not winning the fight, George.
It's because of that left jab. If someone would just come in and take away that jab.
Yeah, well, it's like Larry says. It's Lewis's tactical skill that's winning the fight for him.
This boy was an Olympic heavyweight champion one time.
And he lands a big right hand as Holyfield comes inside. You see the natural counter-punching tendency of Lewis. When Holyfield comes toward him, he lands.
They both would prefer to be counter-punchers, but Lewis has done more leading with his jab tonight.
I think Lewis have even surprised himself at how good he's boxed tonight. Left jab, stepping to the left, stepping to the right.
Never better. Never better. The question was, would Lennox Lewis show up for a big fight? And he did.
Good right hand by Evander Holyfield.
Big land. But Lewis seems unruffled by it.
All he does is stick his left hand out there and stops everything. It doesn't even have to be hard. When Lewis just sticks it out there, it stops. All of the action.
British fighter in this century has been closer to winning an undisputed heavyweight champion. But there is still one round to go against a great fighter who has not been great tonight.
3 minutes to go to a unified heavyweight championship. Lennox Lewis has never lost a decision.
You might have got that round because you're making a miss, but you ain't doing shit behind it. You let a miss, come back with something. All you doing is doing this, doing this. You got to be a little more aggressive on it. You let me goddamn man miss, but I would give it the round because you ain't doing nothing but just been satisfied to do this shit. Last round, touch gloves, champ.
He's giving the ring up to you, so you got to do it.
He's got to outwork him.
Simple, short and sweet. And fire, knew you'd take your hands up and can't do shit. Sweet. But you let him miss. Close the show now. You saved it all, man.
You walk by faith, not by sight. Let's get that, brother. Mouthpiece.
Now let's close the show.
Who will close the show?
Who wants it? Let's go. Who wants it? Let's go.
Unless our eyes have fooled us badly, Evander Holyfield needs a knockout desperately right now to hold on to his shares of the heavyweight championship of the world. Lewis thudding with the right hand over and over.
Lewis trying to close the show in style rather than sit on a lead.
And you heard the urgency of Emmanuel Stewart between rounds.
I believe that Holyfield has one more knockdown in his right there stuck in those arms. He still got one.
You're rooting for the old guy, George, understandably.
He hasn't been close to knocking Lewis down, George.
He's got one more punch, I'm telling you.
He's landed punches. He hasn't been close to knocking him down.
If only Lewis would just bend his waist.
Lewis lands the right hand again as Holyfield's leans in.
You want him to bend his waist into a Holyfield punch? Is that what you want, George?
You trying to keep the title in the colonies, George? They're singing upstairs. They're cheering downstairs. The applause is building.
Let's keep it clean on this one.
Keep it clean. Isn't that nice? The referee said the magic word. Keep it clean.
McCarthy Jr. doing a brilliant job.
It's been a good fight out there. Holyfield now seems to be just waiting for the bell to ring. Come on, Holyfield, do something.
He hasn't got it, George. The old warrior has no rally left. Lewis just staring him down.
I don't think he should taunt the great guy, though.
Precious seconds tick away as Lewis again ties Holyfield up inside. It's been an easy boxing exhibition for the bigger man.
He's never had the endurance in the 12th rounds with the big guys. But let me tell you, he's had the heart.
This fight may be the biggest anticlimax dramatically since the impeachment. But if a Brit wins, it will be the biggest news in the British Isles for many a decade.
Not since Bob Fitzsimmons in 1897 has a citizen of Great Britain held an undisputed heavyweight title. We may be minutes away from that watershed right now. Letterman, what's your final scorecard?
117, 111, 9 rounds to 3. Lennox Lewis. He pulled out 11 and 12 impressively. Holyfield only won 9, 10, and 3. No question, no doubt about it. Lennox Lewis wins the fight. The better jab, the cleaner punching, the harder right hands.
Let's see if the judges from South Africa, Great Britain, and New Jersey agree. They're celebrating in Lewis's corner as Holyfield walks and waits. Final punch stat numbers are overwhelmingly one-sided. Lewis landing 218 more blows, more than doubling Holyfield's landed punch number, and nearly doubling his output. And Lewis landing at an astonishing 57%, including 51% of his jabs. If the judges see fit to ignore this kind of numerical dominance, you would wonder how.
You know, I got to say something.
Please do.
The people at Time Warner, they produced the youngest heavyweight champ of the world, the oldest heavyweight champion. When all the dust is settled, they produced, once again, the United Heavyweight One Champion of the world, Seth Abraham. You got to give it to the guy.
Well, on behalf of the company, thank you, George.
But
You're a part of it, too.
This is an event. This was happening before I came on the scene.
We're ready for the official decision. Let's go to Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of boxing here at Madison Square Garden, we go to the scorecards at this time. Judge at ringside, Eugenia Williams, scores about 115 to 113 in favor of Evander Holyfield. Judge at ringside, Stanley Christodoulou, scores about 116 to 113 in favor of Lennox Lewis. Judge at ringside, Larry O'Connell, scores about 115 to 115, even a draw. The decision is even a draw. Both champions retain their belts.
That's a travesty. That is, ladies and gentlemen, a travesty, an outrage, a highway robbery. Lennox Lewis has just been robbed of the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world. He won it, and he didn't get it.
You know, that is a shame.
It's a Brinks job. Holyfield getting the benefit of the doubt from scorers who apparently didn't appreciate what they saw. And Larry O'Connell of Great Britain is the man with the even scorecard. Gene Williams from New Jersey scored it for Holyfield. Only Stanley Christodoulou of South Africa saw the fight. And Larry Merchant is in the ring with still holder of 2 title belts, Evander Holyfield.
Thank you very much, Jim. Evander, you still have 2 belts. You're still the heavyweight champion of the world. Do you feel like the heavyweight championship of the world after this fight?
Yes, I feel like the heavyweight champion of the world. The whole thing is I'm not the judge as I was fighting. And I haven't got a chance to view the fight. I can't be watching the fight and fighting at the same time.
Well, I know you can't score the fight, Evander, but virtually everybody we know at ringside thought that this was a decisive win for your opponent, Lennox Lewis. Were you surprised to get the draw?
Well, it's real simple. The people around the ring is not the judge. You know, things happen to me sometimes like that. That's just the way it flows. You know, there's always the next time.
When you say there's always a next time, does that mean you want to give him a rematch to resolve this?
Oh, sure. You know, in 6 months, if you want to get it on, we'll get it on. In 6 months, there ain't no problem with me.
Let's talk about the 3rd round. You were convinced the fight would end in the 3rd round. You said you didn't even have a plan B if it didn't end in the 3rd round. What happened and how did you feel about it?
Well, you know, of course I felt that I was going to get him out in the 3rd round. You know, I believe and I worked it to the end. Lennox Lewis had something else to say. You know, he was able to have a good defense. He was able to.
All right, here we see. Were you saving it in the first 2 rounds to try to get him in the third?
Well, I wasn't saving it. The whole thing is that, you know, I was just taking my time. And the point of taking my time, he was able to get the jab off a lot of time.
Did he surprise you by how well he boxed you from outside and didn't allow you to get inside on him?
Well, he did well. He did well, and it wasn't no surprise. He did the thing that was necessary. He kept me on the end of the jab, and it kept me out there, and I would get a chance to fight inside.
You looked a little dispirited after that third round. You sagged a little bit. I mean, this was a really important prediction for you. It was divinely inspired, according to you.
Well, yeah, you know, I still love the Lord, and you know, the Lord is my Savior. I still believe in the Lord. It's just sometimes we wrong. Sometimes, you know, you think you heard something you didn't, and so it's all good. I still give praise to the Lord.
Do you think you did your best? Was that an Evander Holyfield performance tonight?
Well, you know, I guess I did the best I could tonight. And but that's the only thing I said. It's not my best performance, though.
What do you want to say to Lennox Lewis?
Well, my whole thing is that he ain't nothing like a man that when he get his opportunity, he shine. The man really shined. I never say he wasn't tough. He showed that he was tough, and it's good for the game of boxing.
Was he a better fighter than you thought he was?
Well, I never did think that he was a bad fighter. I just know that style makes fight. And he did well this time, you know.
Thank you very much, Evander.
Thank you.
All right.
Come to speak for him.
All right. All right, we're going to talk to Emmanuel Stewart. Lennox Lewis was so disgusted with the decision that he left the ring. Emmanuel Stewart, first give us your impression of the scoring of the fight.
First of all, it was a terrible decision. Anybody can see the fight, and I normally don't even complain, even the Thomas Hearns, Sugar Ray Leonard number 2 fight. But this fight is really what's hurting boxing. Every time we try to move boxing forward and make a great fight of some type like this kind of crap that comes on, well, Evander only won 3 rounds and 4 at the most. But nevertheless, it's called a draw. This is what's killing boxing.
Did Lennox Lewis do everything you thought he could do to control this fight?
Lennox Lewis did not do everything I thought he could do, but he definitely won the fight. He controlled the fight, that was for sure, and he won the fight.
Did the third round theme that we had going into this fight, it looked as though Holyfield was saving himself for that third round, and that the life went out of him after he was unable to do anything with Lewis.
Not only did he go after the third round, but before the third round he didn't do anything. But nevertheless, he keeps his championship. You know, it was totally, Lennox Lewis controlled the fight, better defense, better ring generalship, and completely outboxed him all the way. And the last round, if there was any doubt at all, he did close the show that I thought with a very good display of boxing the last round.
Should there be a rematch?
You know, if they're going to call these kind of decisions, this is why we need federal regulation right now. If they're going to have a rematch, it would be great, but who's going to stop this from happening again?
Thank you very much, Emmanuel Stewart, and now to Nick Charles.
Well, Larry, I'm standing outside Lennox Lewis's dressing room, and the reason we're outside is he won't let us in. He is distraught and angry about what happened. Incredulous is what really the word. Lewis thought he clearly won. You just heard Emmanuel Stewart. Dino Duva, who was also in the corner, is blaming the WBA judge, had Evander Holyfield ahead by 3 points. But shock and disbelief are the words here outside Lennox Lewis's dressing room. He came storming in, whacked the door, hit the dressing room table, and just laid down. He is a bitter, angry man at this point, and as we said, most observers had him ahead, him winning this fight decisively, so we see his point.
And another look at Lewis as he left the ring and made his way angrily to the dressing room, and you wonder when he'll be in a frame of mind to talk about the highway robbery which has just taken place in this heavyweight unification bout. once again, at one of the most critical and propitious moments possible, boxing's cesspool opens to emit an unconscionable odor. The last time we saw a decision like this, George, Shannon Briggs was getting a win over you in Atlantic City. It must be particularly hurtful to somebody who cares as much as you do about the sport to see this kind of thing happen.
Yeah, it's a shame on one hand, but on another hand, the Queen and all the subjects can be proud. This man, Lennox Lewis, proved that he is no doubt the best heavyweight in the world today. He won the fight. The people, it's all about people anyway. Will they come the next time? Will they crown him? I think so tonight. He was crowned.
So in your view, George, Lennox Lewis is the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world.
Yeah, that's all there is to it. Now you just got to move on and forget it because nothing can dampen. We had a major event here today. The people here, the people around the world, they saw the best that we could give them in the heavyweight division. No one can ever put a cloud over this. I love it, and I'd like to see it again.
If you're Lennox Lewis, after what has happened to you here, do you go ahead and make the commitment to fight the guy again?
Yeah, you just get up, dust your pants off, and go and fight him again. Knock him out next time. You can't cry in the room. There's nothing in the dressing room. Nothing comes to a crier but some more tears. You just got to get up and go get it. Forget about tonight. It's over. You had a wonderful time. You proved to the world you're good, but put a smile on your face because you always have tomorrow.
And you can almost imagine Emanuel Stewart saying to his man right now, if you had committed more, if you weren't as tentative, you'd be celebrating a knockout victory right now. Larry Merchant, your final comments on the stench of this horrible decision.
Well, it's almost beyond the stench, Jim. Lennox Lewis has suffered so many slings and arrows in America. He's had a really wonderful career. Our best fighters, heavyweights, have shamelessly avoided him in this decade. He comes here tonight, fights the best of the best right now, decisively controls him throughout the fight, beats him up, and doesn't get the decision. I think that it's time that the slings and arrows ought to be aimed at all of those who have slinged and arrowed him. I'm ashamed as a boxing fan and as an American who has seen this foreigner take so much stuff from our people simply because he's not an American, that his great moment of glory was taken away from him.
You saw the fight. Lennox Lewis was the winner. Two judges fraudulently converted it into a draw, and it's over. Let's go back up to our host, James Brown.
All right, Jim, and sad to say that it is indeed over. Roy, let me ask you, what in the world would you do had you done what Lennox Lewis did tonight and the decision was as we saw it?
Well, there's nothing he could do but to do like he did, conduct himself as an adult, make his country look beautiful. I had the same thing happen to me in Seoul, Korea, and I represented my country to the best of my ability. And the people from the other country felt ashamed that their country treated me that way. I'm like Larry. I feel ashamed tonight that we treated Lennox Lewis the way we did because he gave it an all-out effort. But anytime Don King's involved, you can expect a draw to come from somewhere. Ask Pernell Whitaker about the Julio Cesar Chavez fight. You know something like that was in the air if he's here. I mean, that's just the way it goes. And that's the type of things that make you stray away from boxing. That's the type of things that has Roy Jones where he doesn't want to stick around in boxing. I fought a lot of times last year, but I worked hard each and every training camp to go in and be treated fair. If you come out and you ain't treated fair, why should you do it? I mean, it's so corrupt already. Why keep on doing this? And then you got people that complain about stuff like rodeos and other things, other sports about stuff with animals, and we can't even get sports with humans right. I mean, it's totally unfair. I love Evander Holyfield. I thought Evander Holyfield gave it a very game effort, but you win some and you lose some. Roy Jones can lose if somebody ever beat me. I'm not saying nobody could ever beat me, but if you beat me, you beat me. If you don't beat me, then I'm upset. And tonight I'm upset because Lennox Lewis did not lose and it was not a draw. As simple as that.
At least in wrestling, going in what the deal is. Here, it is absolutely unbelievable. Folks, let's take a look at the reaction of both Lennox Lewis and Evander Holyfield at the decision this evening. A preposterous one indeed. Lennox Lewis cannot believe it. He gave his absolute best. He won it in punches, every way imaginable, but yet Evander Holyfield retains his two belts. Lennox Lewis retains his. There is no undisputed heavyweight champion, as there should be after tonight's bout. Once again, we'd like to remind you that you can watch the post-fight press conference live on the internet with the Windows Media Player at www.holyfieldlewis.com. Well, it was supposed to have been the undisputed World Heavyweight Championship. We gave it our best. It was brought to you by TVKO, pay-per-view entertainment from HBO. Madison Square Garden, the world's most famous arena. MoneyGram, international money transfer. Golden Ram Memory, the fastest growing memory company in the world. And by Budweiser, undisputed, undefeated king of beers. For Jim Lampley, Larry Merchant, George Foreman, Roy Jones Jr., Nick Charles, and Harold Letterman, this is James Brown saying so long from New York's Madison Square Garden. The executive producer of TVKO is Ross Greenberg. Tonight's broadcast was produced by Rick Bernstein and directed by Mark Payton. Associate directors Kirby Bradley, David Leapson, and Brian McDonald. Feature producers Greg Backer and Max Siegel. Assistant to the producer Matt Boland. The production managers John McCallie, Mark Hayden, and Holly Peterman. The technical supervisor John Tomlinson. And the technical director Douglas Getz.
I'm here with Lennox Lewis and Emmanuel Stewart. Lennox, your feeling. This bout ends in a draw. Most people thought you won decisively.
I'm so disappointed. I felt that I won the fight hands down. What can I say? I felt that I would have run into the ring with one belt and come out with three. I was expecting 3 belts, but I don't even know what to say. I'm so disappointed.
It's incomprehensible to you. What was the problem?
Well, I think to me it looks like the judges was rigged almost. I hate to say it. This is a sport that I make my living in, and I'm ashamed of it, what I saw, and I'm going to speak out.
I'm saying, did he hit me with a jab? I hit him with jabs all night.
Did he ever shake you up?
No, not in the least, not one bit. I cannot believe the outcome. I cannot believe the outcome.
As the rounds were clicking on, was there any doubt in your mind that maybe things were getting close, that perhaps you really had to put them away, that you needed a 10-8 round, that you needed to win with conviction down the stretch?
No, I felt that I won. I lost at least about 2 rounds. I lost 2 rounds. That's all I felt.
What about a rematch right now? Can you take any solace in the fact that you're completely convinced you're the better man? How do you walk away from this and leave it alone? You have to go right back at him?
Well, I believe there should be an automatic rematch. I doubt if he's going to want to fight me again. Like I said in the beginning, Evander Holyfield never seen nothing like Lennox Lewis, and he looked like an old man in there. He looked slow to me. He was missing a lot of punches. I hit him with jabs, right hands. He was hurt a couple times. I don't even know what the judges were looking at.
So what are we going to look for now? I mean, how do you go back to work Monday?
Disappointed, but I'm happy because the whole world's seen it for themselves. I know they wouldn't let me. I know they wouldn't let me leave with all 3 belts without trying to do some kind of funny business. It worried me because it was a Don King promotion. But what can I say? I boxed him in his home turf and still won.
2 champions enter the ring tonight. 2 champions somehow
yes,
left.
Patrick, big it up.
That's the story from Lennox Lewis's locker room.
All right, Nick, thank you very much, and we thank those of you very much who stuck around to hear that. In fact, a very, very strong job by Lennox Lewis, who maintained his composure and indeed showed some class, enough to share his thoughts on what was simply unbelievable. That which was supposed to have been undisputed is indeed unbelievable. For all of us here at TVKO, I'm James Brown. Good night, everyone.
looking for school hard knocks. Guaranteed to knock you out.
Bizarre itself, the word travesty may come to mind.
I think all of our jaws dropped when the decision was rendered. We've seen it all in boxing. Evander Holyfield getting his ear chewed off, but Fred, now this, huh?
Can't believe what you see all the time, can you, Eric? Indeed, and in fact, they fought to a draw tonight. Lennox Lewis and Evander Holyfield in this heavyweight unification bout. And quickly, we want to go out to our colleague Nick Charles, who's standing by with Don Turner, Holyfield's trainer. Nick?
Don, you're in the corner. Your man. Who won the fight?
Well, I thought Evander won it. I thought he pulled out the last 4 rounds. You know, I looked on the judges' card. Everybody gave him Lewis the last round. I just didn't think so. From where I was sitting, it looked like he won the last round. So it was close, though.
How good is Lennox Lewis?
Well, I said all along he was going to fight the best fight of his life.
He did.
He fought a good fight. You know, he fights good tall. You know, he takes the hook away from you very well because he lays back. He don't give you his head when he's punching. He lays back. We call it in the bucket. He looks like he's running all the time.
Evander had trouble getting in. He had trouble cutting the ring. He had trouble getting inside and breaking him down.
And when he got inside, Lewis held him, you know, which was smart. You know, he could only get 1 shot off on Lewis. And I think Lewis fought a very smart fight.
Don, you're the trainer. You got to worry about getting your guy together each round and regrouping and going to another plan. But it didn't seem as if Evander had another plan tonight. It seemed that he had to get in, and he wasn't, and the jab was working enough, and it was hurting him. And he just, you know, and he couldn't adjust.
Yeah, but in the later rounds, his jab was like better than Lennox in the later rounds. You know, in the early rounds it wasn't. Lennox was hitting. He was just trying to trap Lennox into doing things. But every time he set a trap, Lennox would just move away from it.
And just finally, when you heard the boos, could you understand the crowd booing this?
Yeah, well, that don't bother me. You know me, Nick. I don't pay any attention to that. We got a draw. He still got his championship. Lewis still got his. Maybe they'll fight again sometime.
The hope around a lot of places are they will. Don Turner, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, Evander Holyfield was with us just moments ago, and this is what he had to say.
I told him it was a good fight. He fought a good fight, and one thing, you know, I like about boxing, regardless of what everybody say, you just still have to get in the ring and prove yourself. He was able to rise to the occasion today, which is great. And, you know, hopefully we can do it again.
You look very beat up. Were you feeling your age?
Well, no. The fact is that, you know, I got hit in the face, you know, but, you know, a warrior is a person that takes the bumps and lumps and always come back. You know, I was like this when Reddy Bow, the first fight. Second fight, I came back and, you know, they healed.
Did you think you had to knock him out maybe down the stretch to win? Did you, in your heart of hearts, think you were possibly or probably behind?
Well, the fact is I take 1 round at a time, and I do all that I can. And once I do all I can, then that's it. That's all I can do.
What wasn't working? You know, we talked about the fact that it was very difficult to get inside this guy. I would think the game plan was to get behind that jab, but he was throwing it.
Well, you know, as a lot of things didn't work, and due to other circumstances, and I don't want to take that from Lennox. And so whatever didn't work, Lennox did his job.
What was working for him? Okay, with Lennox Lewis, you're smiling now, but I saw you walk in that locker room. You were an angry guy.
I was disappointed. I mean, they don't realize that, you know, I've been working for 10 years trying to be undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. And, you know, I felt that I won the fight hands down. This was highway robbery, but what can you do? You can only smile and go on. You know, I call for an automatic rematch next month.
In terms of what you were doing so well, the jab, the uppercut, he never got inside, and he never had a plan B, it looked like.
No, I felt very confident in there. I failed to see where he even hit me with a jab. I was hitting him with jabs all night. I felt I won the fight hands down. You know, the most rounds that you could give Evander was at least 3.
Did he ever rattle you, Lennox?
Not in the least, not one time, and I'm sure I rattled him a whole heap of times.
With what? Your uppercuts? Your
uppercuts, right hands, you know. Sometimes he was laying against the ropes, and I was just peppering him with jabs and right hands.
At times, did you feel you were in there with a guy 36 who was feeling it?
Definitely, especially when he was trying to land that hook and he was missing. I was making him miss, and like I said, you know, I felt I won the fight hands down. What can I do?
How do you regroup and say, I mean, you're smiling now, and I know how much it hurts. I know that this was your time to seize the moment. How do you go back to work Monday and regroup?
Well, you know, the good thing about it is I still got one belt, and Evander still got 2 of my belts, and he knows it, and I doubt if he's going to give me a rematch straight away, because he realizes that I'm much superior than him.
There's no clause that he has to give you a rematch? You would have had to give him one?
Yes.
So what are you going to do, sit and stew?
I think the whole world knows that I'm undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, and you know, I'm just gonna go and look at the fight and, you know, just regroup and you know, not be too happy about it, but still smile.
Again, it's about credit and respect. You proved something to yourself tonight as well?
Yes, I did. I proved that you know, I'm a superior boxer. I'm a true heavyweight and undisputed heavyweight champion of the world.
Lennox Lewis with his head up high, but with a heavy heart. Thanks for being with us.
Enough respect.
Okay, we'll see you again. Up the trail, we're sure. He impressed a lot of people tonight here at the Garden in New York. Fred, again, I thought that he controlled this fight. I thought that Lennox Lewis would live and die by the jab. He had it working, he had it going, and Evander Holyfield was never able to solve it and work around it with any kind of convincing consistency enough to score, enough to win in most eyes, and the way I saw it also. Once again, Lewis was not intimidated, and he was able to carry this off. As we see Emmanuel Stewart, and I know how upset you were, Emmanuel, with what happened. What happened?
Well, it was robbery. It was not even a fight that I was worried about the decision in this one. Normally, I'm always going for the knockout, don't take a chance. The Tommy Hearn, Sugar Ray Leonard, #2 even. I mean, I could accept that decision. But this fight was not even a close contest. I mean, it was 3 rounds at the most you would give Evander for having made better effort those rounds. But even in those rounds, he didn't do anything effectively.
In terms of what your guy was doing so well, it was pretty obvious. The jabs, the uppercuts, you kept insisting in between rounds, keep the jab working.
Well, he actually showed Evander to be what he is. He's a little old man, and he's effective beating Mike Tyson, and that's about it. And beyond that, actually, Evander Holyfield